All right, the Climategate scandal that is sweeping some of the world's most prestigious research institutions has officially reached Al Gore's doorstep. Now, he has canceled his plans to speak at the Copenhagen summit next week, news which conference planners say they received with, quote, great disappointment. And not only that, two members of the Academy of Motion Pictures are now calling on the vanquished vice president to return his Oscar. Now, they say the Academy Award, which Gore was awarded in 2007 for an inconvenient truth, well, it made him a rich man, but that the Climategate scandal shows, as many incidents before have, that the movie was founded on junk science. Not only that, but the movie's doomsday message exposes Gore for the hypocrite that he is. Now, Al Gore may want you to bike to work every day, but this video, which we showed you 2 years ago, yes, that shows him getting off his private jet and into a big gas-guzzling town car. Oh, and then, of course, there's Gore's supposedly green mansion, which, according to a 2008 estimate from the Tennessee Center for Policy Research, consumes far more energy than the average American home. As a matter of fact, 20 times what you use in a year, he uses in a month. And don't forget his houseboat. Yes, he owns a custom-made houseboat that he's dubbed BioSolar One. Now, the Powerline blog computed that you'd have to drive 975 miles farther from Chicago to New York to emit the same amount of fuel that Gore's green houseboat uses in a single day. And that doesn't count, by the way, the jet ski that he has perched on the back. So it's safe to say that Climategate has revealed that global warming and that movement is run by hacks and frauds. And given that Al Gore personifies the movement, maybe that shouldn't come as any surprise. But the political fallout from this scandal, well, that's just beginning. The head of the UN's International Panel on Climate Change is calling for an investigation on the subject, and GOP lawmakers, well, they want the same. Senator James Inhofe, the minority-ranking member of the Environment and Public Works Committee, is leading the fight to investigate the issue on Capitol Hill, and he joins me now. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, Sean. Good to be with you.
All right. You got the Oscar. He's got the Nobel Prize. Do you join this effort? Should he have to give it back?
Well, he's also got several $100 million. Let's don't forget that. Oh, yeah, I think it'd be great to give it back, but it's not going to happen. You know that, and I know that. But I'll tell you, what's happening now is very significant, and one of the things that is very difficult to deal with because people don't really understand it, and that is the endangerment finding. It was a sigh of relief for me when I saw that they came out with all this stuff, because that was verifying what we had thought and had been talking about before, and I thought that would stop them from coming out with an endangerment finding, because, Sean, the science on which that finding will come out was the IPCC, the same guys that have been cooking the science. So anyway, I guess that's not going to happen.
All right, if you look at these emails, we've been going over it. Is it fair of me to characterize this as the biggest scientific scandal in our lifetime, that people have been lied to on a mass scale?
Well, yeah, it's fair. Let me read something to you here. The Guardian, and that's an environmental activist group, they said pretending this is not a real crisis is not going to make it go away. But listen to what the UK Telegraph said. This is the worst scientific scandal of our generation. Yeah. And, you know, when you have people like that saying it, and for them to act like it's not going to happen, and, you know, now we have the president who wasn't going to go, then he was going to go, and now apparently he's changed the time that he's going. He's going to go up there with two messages that are really pretty scary. One is, I think that he's going to announce that the United States is going to reduce their emissions by, I think they said 17% by 2020. Now, that's not going to happen, but a lot of people over there in other countries, they think that if the president says it, they don't know that we have a Congress. So that's kind of a scary thing that he's going to take that message. The other one is, which I'm sure you've heard, he's going to commit $10 billion a year to developing nations to help them to do something about emissions in their countries. Now, can you imagine what...
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect this from scientists. I mean, you look at these emails, quote, they want to, quote, hide the decline. It's a travesty that we can't account for the lack of warming at the moment. That's a travesty. And the question that I keep asking everybody, and I have my theory on it, and I've been bringing it up all week, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. Why would scientists, what is motivating them to purposely distort, manipulate facts, and lie to the world community? What is the political agenda behind it?
Well, when this first started, and keep in mind the IPCC is the United Nations, when the scientists at the very beginning started coming out saying, well, the science is settled and we're having all these reports, the scientists were coming to me, into my Senate office. They were calling me and saying, this thing is cooked. They won't allow us to come in and give our opinion. They will only hear from individuals who agree with their position. So 4 years ago, Sean, I made a speech on the Senate floor. It's about an hour long, and I covered all this science, how they're cooking the science, and I was redeemed when this came out.
Yeah.
Now, my answer to your question is the real scientists are not. There are a lot of people in the scientific community that are outraged by what they're doing to science. And keep in mind, the guy that is in charge of the IPCC, the top scientist, and that's where they get all of their information, all of the science that comes into policy making in the United States, in our government, comes from the IPCC.
All right. Now, 59% Rasmussen say that they believe that the global warming data that we've been hearing about is rigged. So I think in that sense it's a good thing. But there still seems to be denial. The White House is still actually denying that this information has been false and it has been rigged. The question is, you know, they want to use this information even still on legislation that's going to impact every American. It's going to outsource jobs. We're going to lose jobs in the country. It's going to put a higher tax burden on the American people. So my question is, why can't they face the truth in light of what we now know?
Well, I think the president clearly is trying to redeem himself with the far left because they got mad when he made his Afghan decisions. But just 2 days ago, we had Lisa Jackson, she is his choice to head up the EPA, come before our committee, and I said to her, how can you come out with an endangerment finding when it's based, by your own admission, on the science of the IPCC, which has now been debunked? And I think they're going to try to come out with I wouldn't be surprised if they did it next week, before people can find out how serious that is.
All right, last question.
Shown that endangerment finding would be a huge jobs, it would cost us millions of jobs and billions of dollars.
All right, do you have, this was all exposed because of the Freedom of Information Act in Great Britain. We only have a few seconds. Barbara Boxer wants an investigation into, quote, the hacked emails. Was this really about more about a whistleblower? We only have a second.
Well, yeah, they're all trying to say this wasn't gotten properly, and maybe it wasn't. I don't condone the way it was they got it in the first place, but nonetheless, it's there, and it verifies everything, all the accusations that were there before, and it's the top scientists that came up with these conclusions that are the ones that are doing it.
All right, Senator, you were right for a long time. We were right on this program. Al Gore's a hypocrite getting on his private jet, and I hope this ends cap and tax, and I hope it ends this hysteria that people have been, by the way, it was snowing in Houston today. Good to see you, Senator. Thank you.
Good to see you, John.
All right, still lots more to come tonight here on Hannity and